What is up, people? What is up, heathens? Rev Avi checking in live for the Magic Quarantine Talk. What is going on, Legion? What's up? I'm here. So I am going to talk to you guys, as usual, about the occult. We're going to talk about magic. We're going to talk about a lot of those hidden and secret topics that most people would not discuss. What's going on? Of course, I'm going to give people a chance to get here, get my camera all set up and stuff. We give people a chance to get here, and then, of course, we will get started. What's up? Rhino, what's up, brother? Number one, checking in. Of course, tag your friends if you are, tag your friends in the group, you guys, so we can get them on here. If you're watching this on YouTube, of course, please like and subscribe so we can continue to grow this thing. Please share the group. The website and all that stuff is active, demonism.org. So check us out. Link up with us, join with us, get on the Discord and all that stuff, and let's get a community growing here, people. All right. So I'm not really sure what to talk about tonight. There was a couple of I sent out a message on Discord. There was a couple of responses. One of them was for a talk on crystals, but I feel like I've done the crystal talk enough, so I kind of rejected that. And the other suggested topic was ancient grimoires. Okay, so with that in mind, let me get my new book. Okay, let me get the new book. Demonism. Okay, and this thing is massive. For those of you that were asking about it, this thing is fucking massive. It's actually about the size of my encyclopedia of common diseases, which is also humongous because it's a fucking encyclopedia. But the thing is, this thing is massive, and inside of here, I'm gonna give everyone a sneak peek because why the fuck not? It's not like this information is super duper private. At least some of it is advanced teachings, but this specific part of the book is not. And this is a chronological breakdown of ancient grimoires, since we had a request for that. So somebody tagged Jason. I think Jason Huckabee was the person that requested to go over ancient books. So let me turn to the chapter inside of Demonism that does this chronological breakdown of these ancient grimoires. And I will name them off on live for you tonight. So, like I said, these aren't a huge secret. These are the books that a lot of occult authors base their works off of. Okay, so if you're coming across people that are producing books that are calling themselves grimoires or something like that, or you come across organizations that are teaching like ceremonial magic and stuff like that, usually their structure is based off of one of these books. Okay. So with that said, this should be a great live, and some great information for everyone out there. Hopefully, like I said, tag some people out there so we can get them on here. There's about 3 people here now, so I'll get started. But, let's get into this. Okay. Let's talk about, these ancient grimoires. I'll go through the list and tell you, some of what is in here because it could take a while to read all of this. But I'm going to just tell you basically the title and a little bit about that book, and we'll go through. Okay. So let's start with the oldest one because these are in chronological order. One of the oldest books or grimoires in existence is Le Dragon Rouge, okay, or the Red Dragon. This book came around in about 1521, okay. It was published in 1822, and it allegedly, like I said, dates back to around 1521, and is considered by some to be the source of black magic and demonic evocation. Okay. The next one we have is Les Secrets. Okay. Which is claimed, which is by Albertus Magnus. This came around in about, well, it says it was written in 1272, but produced in 1668. Okay. And this book goes over stuff like the Hand of Glory and how to make some other interesting witchcraft items, okay, from history. Moving on, we have this is a huge, crazy fucking name. The Phenmatologia, okay, Occulta et Vera, okay, and this comes around in Germany in 1880 or so, okay, about 1820 or 1880 or so. And this is actually a collection of different black magic manuals, okay. that go over summoning. A lot of different stuff is mentioned in there. And this is one of horse collections, okay? So if you're familiar with that, you could look up that ancient grimoire, okay? The next one, which is a popular grimoire, and actually, Ace, it's good to see you on here because this is directly related to you, is the Necronomicon, okay? And this is by, of course, Abdul Al-Zared, and this comes around in the year 1973, okay? And it doesn't really have much information about it, but here in my book, I give a nice little picture of it, okay, of what the old text looks like. Looks like a lot of scribble to me because I do not read the language, but of course this is some type of Sanskrit that is supposedly originally written in, but it does get republished later, and I mentioned both copies and both versions in the book, okay? The next book that we come to is by Francis Barrett, and this is the Magus or Celestial Intelligencer, okay? And this is a complete system of occult philosophy. This is like one of the first books that offers like a complete system of understanding like astrology and celestial energies and stuff like that. This is one of the first ones that sort of appears as a complete work, okay? It's got some selections from Agrippa's 3 books of occult philosophy in there and some other great things, okay? The next one that we come across in this chronological order is the Necronomicon by Simon. And this is one of the more popular versions, okay? And it's an admitted work of fiction, okay, which is written in the form of a history, like a historical documentary, but it is a work of fiction. This comes around in about the year 1980, okay? And this book, I mean, if you know about the Necronomicon, this is what inspires all of the believers in the Cthulhu mythos and stuff like that. So when you come across people talking about Cthulhu and stuff like that, it's all based off the Necronomicon, okay? So there's a bunch of belief structures based around that book, okay? The next book we come to is the Grimoire or of Armadale, which you come across these sigils that look like this. This is the first book that starts to introduce the idea of working with like sigils and angelic symbols and planetary symbols and demonic symbols and stuff like that. And this was published actually in the same year, around 1980, okay? And then we see Agrippa by Cornelius, the 4th book of occult philosophy, which comes around in 1985, all right? And we already kind of mentioned what Agrippa's work consists of. It's a lot of elemental representations and stuff like that, okay? So next we have the Nigromancia, okay? And this is by Roger Bacon, which appears in 1988. And then, of course, I give some breakdowns of that. But I'm not going to go over all the details because I do want you to still have a reason to purchase my book, right? The Grimoire Verum appears in 1995. And I was arguing with some people in a Facebook group based around the Grimoire Verum. And they were, like, really anal about, you got to make this stuff exactly like it says in the book. I'm like, you know, it says some really crazy shit in there. And I would hope you're not out there, like, trying to get the blood or fat of some kid to make this crap that this book mentions. But this is called the True Grimoire, okay? Originally claimed to be published in French by an Egyptian named Alibek, right? In 1557. But, of course, the book claims connection to Solomon and all that stuff. But, of course, if you try what's in these grimoires, these ancient grimoires that I'm mentioning, you're going to find out that a lot of this stuff, some of it is really, really crazy religious fanatical stuff. A lot of these ancient grimoires that I'm mentioning, even though they claim to be of the black magic path and stuff like that, are actually written by preachers and Christians and holy men. These were super religious people that thought they could control the demons somehow because of the power given to them by God. This is how a lot of these grimoires came into existence. So when you come across those left-hand teachers that are telling you, like, you know, that they have some divine revelation from one of these grimoires, you know, just remind them that it was all Christian to begin with. Le Dragon Noir, all right? This comes around the year 1995. This is one of those books that first shows the idea of making this type of magical circle, okay, where you would conjure the spirit in one circle or a circle that's separate from you and you would stand in the other, okay? This is where these first concepts start to emerge, right? This is where all this stuff comes from. The Grand Grimoire, all right? Translated by Rudy Gretchen, comes around in 1996, also known as the Red Book, okay? This is supposedly from King Solomon, but also is known to be like A.E. White's work, okay? So it's basically a black magic cycle that is probably, this book is literally probably the most atrocious book that I've ever seen that has to do with the occult and black magic. This book, The Grand Grimoire, is just atrocious if you compare it to other black magic books, okay? Next we have the Ars Notoria, which is it's called the Notary of Solomon the King. This book comes around in 1997. It gets published, okay? And this is probably one of the most famous grimoires, right? The Ars Notoria. And this is the one that a lot of people base their understanding of demonology and stuff like that off of, okay? And this is great that I'm actually digging through my book. This stuff that I'm talking about doesn't come in until later in the book. I'm on page 486 right now. So the book's around 683 pages. That's exactly how many pages it is, actually. And Demonism goes over great history and a great breakdown and gives you some very powerful understanding into this stuff, okay? Next, we have the Grimoire of Pope Hornius, right? Or Honorius, okay? This comes around in 1999. I think I actually posted a copy of it in the group, in the announcements, because this is a free, open source grimoire, okay? And it's basically, again, that same sort of concept of going over those like angelic and systems of control, right? And that's the last one that we come across. This is really the last sort of ancient, really truly ancient grimoire that exists, okay? Is the Grimoire of Honorius. And when you start to look at this stuff, okay, the Key of Solomon, all these ancient grimoires, all these different spirits and symbols that represent this stuff, it's a repetitive story, okay? And I talk about this a lot. It's a repetitive story. It doesn't matter if you're studying the Goetia, which is just another branch of the Ars Notoria, and or whatever. You know, all this stuff is representing various spiritual aspects, okay? The truth be told, all the spirits and the deities and stuff that are mentioned in these books are references to planets, okay? They're references to planets, and ancient man's understanding, or what their understanding was of the universe during that time. It wasn't like the names and stuff that are used in there were literally the names they were using for the sun. They didn't call it the sun, okay? They were calling it Ra. They were calling it whatever that deity name is. So you have to understand what these things represent and start to kind of try to make sense of this stuff, okay? And then the way that I bring all of this together to make even more sense is to try to understand the psychology behind it, all right? And so with that said, I did kind of give my rundown of all the ancient grimoires that sort of exist in the world, that majority of people's spiritual practices on the occult left-hand path or spirit conjuring path are working with. So I'm going to open up for some questions and see what you guys have to say about this stuff. Have you heard of these grimoires? Have you worked with them before? Let's see what you guys have to say. And what's up out there? Nobody's really been saying anything. I know I've kind of rambled on, but I'm going to open up for some questions. Also, I think that there was a request for some psychic phenomena. Okay, so perhaps I will try and do something a little bit bizarre on this live for you as well. What's up, Nikki? There's a face we don't see too often. But yeah, so I'll open up for some questions, guys. Let me get a smoke and get my mind in the correct place before we even think about doing some bizarre psychic phenomena type stuff. Okay? So, cool. I'm not seeing any questions. That's either really great or really bad. You know, you guys should have questions about stuff, hopefully. I do realize I am good at communicating topics and explaining ideas and stuff like that. But hopefully, at some point, like I said, there will be some people that come here and rebuttal. I do argue with people in other groups, but most of the people that are in this group usually agree with the things that I'm saying, okay? And are learning and practicing the things that I'm talking about. And with demonism, one of the huge practices that we engage in is the art of phantasmagoria. And this has to do with mesmerism and hypnosis and controlling trance states and alternative states of mind, okay? So I do a great job of teaching these aspects, of teaching how to do these things, how to get other people into altered states of consciousness, and how to do this with yourself as well, okay? So I'm going to shut up for a second, and let me think about perhaps some bizarre psychic phenomena stuff I can make occur on this live. Because I haven't, honestly, I haven't been messing around with my ritual stuff in a while. I've been writing and busy and working with the website and all of that stuff. So it's taxing work, you know, building a website and working with all this stuff. It's a lot of work, guys. So with that said, I haven't really been doing a lot of ritual work. But when I get back into it, of course, it's going to be a lot of fun. And hopefully you guys can follow along. So let's see. What do I got back here? I'm trying to think. It's like, it's weird doing stuff and I don't have like a ritual tool planned ahead of time. Like usually I'll come with a pendulum and I have a planned thing that I want to do with it. Or like when I showed off Fred, you know, he's an interesting another piece of ritual history that I have. Let's see, off the top of my head, let's just do something. Maybe I'll do something psychic. Hang on a minute. Get this cigarette out. Okay. I will see if I can do some psychic phenomena. I always like to have my candles lit when I do weird shit. So I've got a smudge feather that I keep on my altar for smudging. And the story behind smudging is, of course, you're supposed to do it with an eagle feather. But the reason that the Native Americans were so obsessed with eagle feathers is because eagles are the highest flying birds. And I don't know if everyone's aware of that. So eagles are like the highest flying birds that exist. So the Native Americans were kind of obsessed with them. And it's said that if you carry an eagle feather with you, that you always have sort of the spirit of the eagle, of the bird, or of the air, okay, with you. And that's the idea of smudging, okay, of using these to smudge and cleanse an area. So one of the things that the Native Americans would do is they would take their like a bowl or container or a seashell, a conch shell is used sometimes, and some sage. They would light it, burn it, and then of course take it, and once you burn it, you smudge and move that smoke around wherever it's gonna go. Okay, but the thing that people don't know about like eagle feathers and that Native American tradition is that if you take an eagle feather and you use your life force, they say that you really can tap into the powers of the eagle. So, I mean, you try different things and you see what works. And maybe you can get some bizarre phenomena, and maybe you can't, you know. When you practice this stuff, when you're trying to work with different shit and understand different concepts and sort of share this stuff with people, it's important to have a very valid message. Okay. It doesn't mean anything if people can sort of sit around and, you know, display bizarre stuff on camera. Okay. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything if you could walk around and show people that you could wave your hands, for instance, and, you know, cause a feather to move or something like that. What does matter is the deeper principles. Okay. The inspiration that can be created within a person to have them achieve great things in life. Okay, so I hope that that really offers you guys some insight into why this is important, why ritual is important, why performance art is important. Okay, it inspires people. All right. So with that said, guys, I'm gonna open up for a few more questions. Set this down, blow my candle out. I'll open up for a few questions. So yeah, and I'll finish my cigarette now. So it's important to realize the deeper message with all of this stuff. Okay, um, it's really important. So cool. I'm not saying any questions, guys. You guys are like totally quiet out there. Say something. Fuck you. That was cool. Something. But yeah. So in the context of practicing the things in the way that I like to teach them, okay, how is this beneficial? How are these things beneficial? Is the super deep question that everyone I feel like needs to ask themselves. What's the point of all this? And I feel like once you start to do that process of course, solve et coagula, then you come to those deeper principles, right? So with that said, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. Okay, I think I've been on in the range of somewhere about 20 minutes or so, or yep, about 30 minutes or so. So I'm gonna wrap it up. Much love, and I will see you guys in the next one.